Okay, it's week 10 of this increasingly exciting Premier League, and these matches were played between October the 28th to the 30th. The early kick-off was the big one between Man United and Spurs at Old Trafford. Now, Kane was out with a hamstring and Son was up front. Jones was back in defence for the Reds, and Mourinho was playing a back three with Bailly and Smalling. Now, Rashford just behind Lukaku, but no Lingard, which was a bit of a surprise after his brace in the Carabao Cup against Swansea on Wednesday. There was a real buzz at the Theatre of Dreams, and as always, a full house. The game had a fast early pace, a couple of half chances for United, but Lloris wasn't really tested. A free kick from distance taken by Rashford warmed Lloris's palms, but by the half hour both defences were handling things easily. So goalless at the break, the conditions were deteriorating. It was pouring with rain, and it looked mightily cold, and the game needed a spark. Now, United looked more purposeful, but Spurs still looking dangerous going forward. Anyway, on 76 minutes, a great chip pass by Eriksson caught the defence napping, and Dele Alli just failed to connect. Otherwise, it would have certainly been costly for United. Shortly after, a smart header from Lukaku hit the post after good work from Lingard, who'd replaced Mkhitaryan. Martial had also come on for Rashford. So with two subs on for Spurs, both managers went for the win. Then a deep punt downfield was headed on by Lukaku, and Dyer hesitated, and Martial was in behind him, and a scruffy shot crept in at Lloris's left-hand post. Spurs tried to respond, but to no avail, and it ended 1-0 to United. Not a pretty game, but hard fought. Just a word on Young. He was excellent in the wing-back role and contributed to both attack and defence, and caused Spurs problems throughout. So, on to the Hawthorns, with the leaders hoping to continue their winning run. So confident were they that Ayew was on the bench with Sterling. From the off, City had all the possession and were camped in Albion's half, and inevitably the pressure told, and it was that man Sané hitting a fierce strike to Foster's left, and that was 1-0. Then, to everyone's surprise, the ball was punted forward. City's defence got in a muddle, and Rodriguez lifted the ball over Edison, and it was one each. So, City typically reacted quickly, and a shot from Fernandinho from just outside the box got a slight deflection, and it flew into Foster's low right-hand corner, and that was 2-1. Catch your breath, 3 goals in 15 minutes. Amazingly, it took City a while to add to the scoring. Midway through the second half, a move of pure craft was finished off with a great final cross from the dangerous Walker. Sterling slotted in from the 6-yard box. City cantered to the finish line after that, but inadvertently conceded a second on time when the defence went to sleep. However, City are in commanding form ahead of next week's Champions League match in Napoli. So, let's move on now to Selhurst Park, with West Ham the visitors. Both sides desperate for a win. and after a dull first half hour, it became a cracking match. After Hernandez opened the scoring from a flowing move, the finish was clinical. Hart had to be on his toes to keep out a Tompkins header, but could do nothing to stop an Ayew drive a few minutes before half-time. Palce came out for the second half with renewed vigour and were rewarded with a penalty converted by Mikoljevic. I think that's the right pronunciation. From there on, the Palace threat increased, and again Hart did well to tip a header onto the bar. He also saved from a Kabay free kick, and it looked like it would be enough for Hammer's win. However, in the 6th minute of added time, Saha got the ball in the box, swiveled, and hit a shot into the left corner. Palace had snatched a point at the death. Huddersfield, buoyant after their win over Man U last week, arrived at Anfield. The pre-match talk centred on the two coaches' friendship, and we learned they played in the same team at Bundesliga side Mainz. To the proceedings today, and the first half was poor, very poor, with Liverpool lacking any creativity and Huddersfield content to keep what they started with. To make matters worse, Salah missed a penalty. Thankfully the second half improved and Sturridge, making a rare start, grabbed up an early chance that he's famous for. This acted as a catalyst, and two more goals followed from Firmino and then a cracker from Wijnaldum on 75 minutes. Klopp happy, but Huddersfield were poor. Arsenal were at home to Swansea and again were slow out of the blocks. And Arsene Wenger's 800th game in charge looked like it was going sour after Klukas was put through by Abraham and slotted it past Cech on 22 minutes. It got Arsenal going, and Fabianski did well on 41 to keep a Sanchez effort out. Swansea could have had a second on half-time, but by the time the second half was barely 6 minutes in, the Gunners equalised through Kalasnak. I don't think that's the right pronunciation. With a left foot drive after pressure in the box. A free kick from Arsenal gave Koscielny a chance, which he appeared to spurn, but Ramsey poked in a cross, and Arsenal were in control as the half-hour mark arrived. That's how it ended, and the 60,000 crowd, 60,000, went home happy. Next up, we've got Chelsea. They were at Bournemouth. Morata missed an early chance after a poor clearance by Begovic, and then Chelsea had a Morata effort disallowed for offside. It looked mighty close. However, Chelsea were clearly on top with Hazard, and he scored 6 minutes into the second half, beating Begovic at his near post. Bournemouth tried to rally but fell short on clear-cut chances and could have gone 2 down on the counter. Anyway, Chelsea are into the top 4. Watford, in good form, entertained Stoke, whose recent results had been poor. The match ignited when a Stoke corner by Shakira went straight to Fletcher, hovering just on the edge of the box, who delightfully hit the ball on the volley into the corner of Gomez's goal. Clearly a training ground play. Fletcher doesn't get many goals, but this was a precise connection. After that, a lot of toil and sweat, and eventually 2 incidents well into the second half reignited the match. First, Decore and Durf clashed on the touchline, 2 yellows given. Berahino then missed a golden opportunity to make it 2-0, and then another unsavoury incident involving Deeney and Allen led to 2 more yellows. although Deeney was lucky to stay on as he poked his thumbs into Allen's cheek. Stoke deserved the win, and as Hughes pointed out, their low position was a reflection of who they had played, rather than those poor performances. So on to Sunday's matches, and the first Leicester under new coach Poyal, with Everton under caretaker manager Unsworth. Okay, he wants the job. Well, let's see what happened. Leicester out of the blocks quickly and opened the scoring on 18 minutes with a sweeping move. King, in his own half, beat a couple of Everton players, swept the ball out to Mahrez on the right, whose first time cross was swept home by guess who? Jamie Vardy. He looked back to his best, reminiscent of those flurry of goals 2 seasons back. Everton responded well, and a Rooney pass put Lennon through, who should have done better. However, Leicester went 2 up before half-time. A somewhat fortuitous miskick from an Everton defender flashed into the net, with Pickford having no chance. After the break, Everton pushed forward and certainly showed some fight, with Morales going close twice, but they badly need a striker. It ended 2-0 Leicester. So to the Amex. Well, the South Coast derby, Brighton versus the Saints, Southampton. Southampton started stronger. Ward-Prowse was in, and he hit the bar after about 7 minutes. And Davis reacted quickly to the rebound, and Saints were 1 up. Brighton responded well and into the second half they got their deserved equaliser when Murray headed into the top left-hand corner, with Fraser looking a little slow to react. It ended 1 each. The Monday night match was, it was between the Magpies and Burnley at Turf Moor. It wasn't much of a game, a few half chances, but Jeff Hendrick stepped up with the winner late on. Right, so that's the wrap up of week 10. United are 5 points behind City now. Palace are still bottom, but only 1 in arrears of Bournemouth. Goal of the week, it's got to be that Darren Fletcher's sweet strike from Shaqiri's cross. That's it. See you next week.